Welcome to Fighting Fridays. Today, we're fighting Austerlitz. Now, the whole battle depended on the Third Coalition, the Austrians and the Russians, falling for Napoleon's ruse that his army was smaller. For a description of the way that pub battles handles this and makes it a challenging game every time, please check out the link below. Okay, let's begin. In the battle today, you have Sue's Corps. From here to here, it's a huge corps, couple elite blocks. It's tough. On the left flank, you have Lannes Corps. These are all just detachments, part of the French fog. Later in the morning, Davout will arrive back here. Turn 1, these 4 HQs will arrive. Are they simply decoys, or has Napoleon brought on his whole army? Attacking that, you have the Third Coalition. Today, we have Doktorov and all his Russian forces here. Here we have Constantin and his Guard Corps defending the mountain fastness called the Pratzen. Here you have the 4th Corps under Kohlrath. And on the coalition right flank, you've got Bagration with a combined force of Austrians and Russians. Once Davout arrives mid-morning, there'll be 14 chits to draw every turn. This creates a lot of interaction with the chit draw. Early morning, a number of French troops are detected moving up the Olmütz road. The coalition troops advance. Couple things to note on this map. It's winter. It's cold. These lakes are frozen and treated as clear terrain. All morning at Austerlitz, there was a heavy fog. This reduces vision to 1/3 of an infantry movement stick. Not until an enemy unit comes within sight of an enemy HQ will they know if it's just the HQ, if it's a decoy, or if it's the whole reserves of the army. It's mid-morning. An Austrian HQ is seen splitting up from Bagration's HQ. Kohlrath's 4th Corps advances. A French HQ is passing in front of Lannes Corps. In the French rear, another HQ moves along. Bagration's Corps comes forward. Another HQ breaks off from Bagration's HQ. Davout's Corps appears on the map and begins moving forward. Another French corps moves behind the lines. And on the French left, another corps is seen moving. And now it's late morning. Still, the fog clings tenaciously, and the artillery is useless. The French forces continue to move. 2 French HQs combine. Bagration orders an attack through the fog. The French HQ continues its move around the coalition right flank. The Austrian corps move out to investigate. The 2 forces come within sight of each other. The whole French command is revealed. But let's see if they're really here. 4, 5, or 6, which were shown with a red circle, means they're really here. They are here. But as you can see, an army of that size forms a line several miles long along a road. This may prove to be an unfortunate turn of events for Napoleon. Now he has to win, and the coalition is not fully invested in an attack at this point. This is where I have learned that sneaking a whole huge force in column along a road is not a good deployment strategy. We'll see what happens. Maybe I can rescue this. First, Bagration's initial assault on these French detachments. Detachments only get 1 die, the regular troops 3. These French are defending a monastery on a hill. They have at least that advantage. Nevertheless, they are swept away. Now this assault. That detachment is swept away also, but the Austrians suffer at the fanatic French defense. It's midday, and Davout's troops are also exposed. Bernadotte races to stabilize the French left. Langren's artillery opens up on the French line, driving them back. Bagration drives forward, and his artillery opens up on the French lines across the Goldbach, driving them back. Davout's corps races forward. Murat's cavalry forms up. Kenmeyer's cavalry races forward. Lannes' artillery turns and fires at the flank of the Austrian infantry, driving them off. His own cavalry races into the fray. He moves a detachment forward to confront the cavalry. Colerath's artillery fires at the troops in front of him, a detachment of Frenchmen. They fall back to the line, and he expands his frontage. Soult's artillery fires at the Russian artillery opposite him, driving it off the hill. Soult moves to his right, shouting orders to attack as he moves. Lichtenstein's cavalry fans out. Patrashev's 3rd Russian Corps pulls back their artillery from the front lines and sends in the reserve troops to the attack. Napoleon moves to the center to better command the situation as the guard comes up the Olmütz road. Dokhtárov tries to salvage the coalition left. Midday combat resolution. We begin with the Austrian cavalry flank attack on their right. French cavalry are ridden down. Russian dragoons riding down a detachment of French troops. The elements escape. Next we have Bagration's assault on Bernadotte's exposed artillery. The Russian infantry is driven back. The coalition cavalry on a French detachment. The cavalry skins its knees, but the detachment is rowed down. And over here on the coalition left, a swirling combat. The cream of the French troops are lost, and the Russians pull back. And on the coalition far left, Davout's assault. And on the icy lake, both sides fight to total exhaustion. After the first clash of arms at Austerlitz, nothing is certain. In the mid-afternoon, Lannes' hussars charge the Austrian hussars. His artillery pivots, but the Russian artillery is out of range. Lannes sends light troops forward to screen, and then moves the main body of his troops forward. With time running out, Napoleon readies the guard. Dokhtárov pulls his line back. Colerath's 4th Corps artillery opens up on the French troops appearing over the hill. To no effect. Landgren firms up his defenses. Soult collapses the mighty French 4th Corps to the right and orders a charge on the coalition left. Bernadotte's artillery opens up on Bagration's infantry, driving it back, and his infantry charges Bagration's Austrian infantry. His remaining infantry guards his artillery and occupies Wellnitz. Liechtenstein's 5th Austrian Cavalry Corps charges Murat's cavalry. Bagration falls back to recover his line. Kenmeyer's 1st Corps cavalry charges Murat's flank. Outmaneuvered by the sudden attack, Murat's cavalry falls back. Constantin sends in the Russian Guard cavalry to outflank Soult's corps attacking Dokhtárov. The Guard's artillery cannot see these juicy French targets here because of the hill between them. All that's left of Davout's corps is the cavalry, and he sends them in as he moves his bags towards the center. And Davout confers with Soult. Patrashev and his artillery make a stand. The artillery is lost, but Davout's cavalry are blown and no longer available for the rest of the day. Grapeshot is hard on horse. Soult's attack on Dokhtárov's fresh line. Russian grenadier horse are too much, and Soult's men are driven back. It's now late afternoon. The French must destroy 4 more blocks of coalition infantry without losing 3 more blocks of their own. Since Napoleon was bluffing and his entire force is here, the French must defeat the coalition. If it ends in a stalemate, the coalition wins. In the late afternoon, Murat charges. The two charge attacks by Murat's cuirassiers are resolved immediately. The coalition cuirassiers are destroyed, and the hussars fall back. Colerate's artillery opens up on the French lines. The artillery drives back the light troops. This is a new rule that will be available in the next edition of the rules when they come out, but retreating detachments do not disorder or push back regular units. This detachment of light troops simply pass through as they should. Now Davout's chit has been drawn. All of Davout's blocks have been eliminated. In other words, his corps is completely exhausted and will not be participating any longer in today's activities. He does continue moving his baggage train to safety. Liechtenstein's hussars fall back behind Bagraccio's dragoons. Soult rues his irrational exuberance and continues to combine his corps in the Golbach Valley by Sokolnitz. Bernadotte advances forward. Lannes expands his frontage and screens his cavalry. Kenmire's hussars fall back behind his infantry. Bagratio pulls his artillery and troops back to the heights. Doktorov dresses his line, and their work done, the Russian Guard Cav falls back into line. In the early evening, there is no combat. There may be time for one last effort. The French must break the Austrian army by the end of the day. That means they have to destroy 4 infantry blocks at the end of this last turn. This is going to take some excellent chit draws and even hotter dice. Sensing imminent attacks, Colerate's artillery fires on the French line. Not without effect. Bagraccio's artillery keeps up the same pressure. The center of Lannes' line is driven back. Doktorov deploys bags and rallies his artillery. With bags unpacked, Landgren rallies his own artillery. Murat orders his cuirassiers into the coalition lines. Cuirassiers eliminate a block of cavalry, but it's infantry that needs to be destroyed. He sends his other cuirassiers to attack the Austrian infantry. The Austrian infantry forms square, of course. The dice are hot. The cuirassiers run down the coalition infantry, and they fall back. Lannes races forward and orders a charge on the coalition line. Hungering for glory, Liechtenstein's hussars charge the blown cuirassiers. Not wanting to be left out, Kenmire's hussars do the same. And Soult attacks out of the valley. Bernadotte's hussars charge Bagraccio's tired troops. Ever ready, the Russian Guard cavalry charges Soult's attack. Last combat of the day. The French need to destroy 3 coalition infantry blocks without losing 3 infantry blocks themselves. But first, over here on the right, we have swirling cavalry battles. The last of Murat's cavalry corps is destroyed. The coalition hussars are ecstatic. But more importantly, over here, we have Bernadotte's hussars charging Bagraccio's exhausted infantry that is unable to form square. The coalition troops panic and run away, but they are not destroyed. And over here, Lannes' troops have charged the coalition line in the center. But that assault is driven back. Colerate's Russians hold. And finally, Soult's attack on the coalition left. But alas, the infantry was able to fall back in good order as once again the Guard cavalry drives off the French assault. The casualties are very similar. Both sides have lost 4 infantry blocks. This is a draw, and the French had to win because they were all here. Napoleon has failed to pull off Austerlitz today. And this was a good game.